take a first look at gameplay for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah, Ubisoft should have been way more clear about what they were actually going to show. Ashraf Ismail, the creative director on the game, did his best to set expectations one day before the announcement, and that was actually right after I published my video from yesterday, but the official channels kept using the words gameplay trailer, and that could also mean that big Origins gameplay trailer that we had around the reveal of the game that showed a ton. Still though, apart from that, I think the teaser was awesome and showed us quite a lot that I want to get into in this video. And I will also share when I think we will see that actual gameplay reveal. So a like on the video would be super appreciated, and let's go. By the way, I'm starting a new giveaway for May for a 2020 game of your choice, so there can be more winners. Enter via the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win. Be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter, and I will announce the winner from my early May giveaway very soon and reach out via the mail. So while the opening part of the game will be in Norway, quite a big part of this trailer was focused on this starting area. We see the house here on top of the hill, and that is the same actually that we saw in an earlier screenshot we got. So that likely means that what we see here is an early game Eivor, but he already has some pretty awesome gear, a cloak, and it looks like we can use the torch and the axe at the same time. Where in the previous games it of course became your primary weapon. And it makes sense with the whole dual wield system that will be in Valhalla, but I never really thought about the fact that this means that we can see things in the dark and still do some actual damage because we can use a good weapon. So this building in the distance seems to be a typical Viking hall where everyone gathers, and I love the people sitting on the upper bar here. And then we got this statue of Thor, I think, looking at the hammer, and we see some thunder in the background there too. And then bam, we go to a shot of the hidden blade. And I would not be surprised if we could customize the look of our hidden blade. Like in Origins, we could upgrade the hidden blade and then the look would change as well. And maybe something similar is in this game, because if we look at the art from Boss Logic, we see that the hidden blade looks different, like it doesn't have the gold look and seems to be a different blade. And if we then combine this with the blade that we saw in the cinematic trailer, and there we see some differences too, and also the wristband is different compared to the one we just got in the teaser. So we can either like upgrade it again from the looks of it, or maybe we can just customize the look. Something that would of course be pretty awesome. And what is also interesting about this shot is that it looks like Eivor already has the hidden blade while we are still in Norway. At least if the start of the trailer is in chronological order. We know that he will meet the hidden ones early in the game and they will give him the blade, but I always thought that it would happen in England, and I actually still think that that will be the case, but maybe this hints at them meeting in Norway already. So interesting stuff, and your theories are of course more than welcome in the comments down below. Next up, we see that one-hand torch pose that we know from the previous games in a Danish hut with some like cages and teeth. And then we gotta look at the tattoo customization, and there will actually be a tattoo parlor in our settlement, so you can change your tattoos there. But this also gives us a good idea at what the tattoos that you can get from the Eivor statue from the Ubisoft store will actually look like in the game. And this of course also confirms that we can run around with a bare chest, right? And I'm curious if this will be by just unequipping our chest gear, or if it will be like Odyssey, where it's just a visual option that you can select. And then bam, we got another shot of this opening area that seems to have a ton of awesome buildings, snow of course, and we can use our boat here as well from the looks of it. Or this might be that cutscene that you will see when you leave Norway and are on your way to England. Because the next part of the trailer will be all about England. And this is likely the ship design that you start the game with, and we have no shields on the side here yet, something we know you can customize as was already shown in another screenshot. It looks beautiful, by the way, the fort there in the distance, and it just looks like a pretty big opening area, as Ashraf already noted as well, that there's just a ton of stuff to do in Norway already. And good to note is that we're looking at next-gen footage here running on the Xbox Series X. Like, I'm sure it will still look great on the PS4 and Xbox One, but this is next-gen footage that they just released, and it will likely look the same on PC and PS5. And then we see quite the quality difference with our Raven flying over our longship. And I think this is the short movie that we will see when we go from Norway to England. And then we go to in-game shots again from the looks of it. and this looks insane. A lot of hills, trees, and even snowy mountains there in the distance. And of course that sort of altar there. So, I mean, it looks like a big open world for sure. And this is another breathtaking shot with a Saxon warrior, and I think this is the flag of Wessex, one of the 4 kingdoms of England at the time that the game takes place. And Wessex was the only kingdom that could actually fight back the Viking invaders. And we saw King Alfred of Wessex already in the cinematic trailer. He will likely be one of the enemies that we have to face. Maybe he's even a Templar or an Ancient, as they were known during this time. And we already saw enemies use these flags as weapons in this screenshot. So that is already interesting, and I'm curious if we can then grab these weapons and maybe use them ourselves as well. They likely won't be that good, but it's still nice to have a lot of variety, of course. And the amount of forts and castles and towers in the distance. And I'm curious if the Vog will be there in the game as well, so then exploration will be more exciting. So you don't really know what is there until you go there yourself. We see a tree here, Yggdrasil, likely not, but it is an interesting sight. And then we get a small taste of the day and night cycle, I think, here as well. And I'm curious if that meditate feature from Origins and Odyssey will be back in this game. And then we see a Saxon soldier praying to gods, because of course England was full of Christians during this time period. Like, I think Eivor meets these characters, maybe they are hidden ones, in a church, for example. And here we see a cross, and I'm sure that we will see a lot of this while exploring England. But here we see the opposite of that, because the Vikings of course infiltrated a great part of England at the start of this game already. So we should likely expect more of these ritual stones in their part of the land. And then bam, we got the Stonehenge that Ashraf actually already confirmed would be in the game. And it's actually pretty interesting and might be easy related for sure. And I want to delve a little deeper into this in a future video, so keep it locked for that. And of course, overall, if you got like any input or noticed things in the trailer, totally reach out to me in the comments under this video. But you can also reach out to my email, input@joeraptor.com, and I will of course give you a shout out and feature you if you found some interesting stuff. And then we see a ton of Saxon warriors standing in front of a gate, likely waiting for an incoming attack. And I think this shows you the scope of the amount of enemies that will be on the screen at the same time. Is this their lieutenant? Maybe. And then bam, we come in with our longship, the Drakkar, and sound the horn to announce the attack. And as we discussed before, I'm curious if this also has some sort of gameplay benefit, like maybe it gives a buff to our raiding party or something. Would be cool. And then we got this very awesome sequence where Eivor is running up to this soldier and doing this awesome aerial kick. And I'm really curious what this is. Is it like a non-lethal assassinate or something, as we saw in the previous games? Because that would be awesome. Or is it just a cool move that you can do when you do not have any weapons equipped? The overpower ability from Odyssey when you use no weapons was pretty cool as well. And then let's take a moment to appreciate the cloak that Eivor is wearing. Still no hood in the trailers. I find that weird. But we already learned that you can toggle the hood on and off whenever you want. But Odyssey promised us these capes as well in their marketing material, but they did not deliver, so I really hope it will be different in this game. And then we're likely looking at a big assault here as part of a main story mission, and we can even use a battering ram, which is awesome. And going back, we see here Eivor run into the soldier with another like barehanded move, like a sort of tackle, and then also finishing the soldier off with his hands. And I love the gloves on this outfit, by the way, looking very sleek. And the first time we see a bow in action in this game, like we knew that there was a bow in this game, but we did not see it used yet. And I'm curious if they will go for the Origins approach with the multiple different bows, or if they go for the Odyssey approach with just one bow and then different abilities to enhance the way you shoot arrows. Hard to say, but this looks like a regular bow here. And then, after using that battering ram, they got inside and we see Eivor lead this enormous army of soldiers. Like, the scale again should be huge. Although I also hope that we have like solo exploration, so that we can choose to just go out alone without a ton of AI companions following us around. And yeah, then we see that extra ability that we also saw in the cinematic trailer. And this is like a combo move maybe, where you can also quickly follow up with another extra, because we kind of see him do that here. Maybe that's like an upgrade for that ability. And then we see Eivor stand in front of a lot of burning buildings. And is this our settlement? Maybe it could tease like an attack on our home base at some point in the story. And That's pretty common with like home bases that are getting attacked at some point. And then another cool shot, and I think this gives us the best look at actual gameplay, because likely when you stand still for some time, the Raven will come towards you like in the previous games. And I love how big this Raven is compared to Icarus and Senu, and it also has these glowing eyes. Odin is with us, and maybe that is one of Odin's ravens. We still don't know the name of the Raven, but yeah, if you know it, let me know in the comments down below. And we also see our raiding party in the ship behind us, and again with those shields on the side. So this is a more advanced Eivor that already unlocked those customizations. And yes, once again the spotlight is on male Eivor, and I really hope that the next blowout will feature female Eivor, and I would not be surprised if that next blowout was during the E3 style of presentation that Ubisoft likely still wants to do this summer. Rumors suggest that it's maybe early June, like when they would normally do their E3 press conference, but really when we know more, I will of course be the first to tell you here on the channel, and I have way more Valhalla videos coming your way in the meantime, and just overall, so subscribe to miss nothing regarding this game. A like on the video would of course